I'm Milton Schoen, and welcome to America Salutes. Today we have a special segment related to the June 21st storm that created extensive damage throughout our state, from southwestern Minnesota and Jackson County to central Minnesota, Swift and Lac-Qui-Parle and Candy-Ojai County, and McLeod and Sibley, and in the southeast in Houston and Fillmore counties, and obviously in the metro, in our county, Hennepin, we suffered significant damage from that storm. We have Dan Tengwall from our office today to discuss the assistance that the Commissioner of Veterans Affairs has made available to veterans who sustained damage in this storm.
Thanks for having me on, Milt. Yep, the Commissioner Shelto, the Department of Veterans Affairs for the state of Minnesota, made a determination that the veterans and their surviving spouses that were affected by those storms on June 21st of this year are eligible for an emergency storm relief fund of up to $1,000.
And that $1,000 would be for damage that they sustained in the storm, and it could include things such as replacement of food?
That's right. Anything from building materials, cleaning supplies that you used to clean up the mess that it made, food, if you had to empty out your refrigerator or freezer, up to $500 for the food. Rental costs for generators, because I know the power was out, your power was out. Right. Water pumps, sump pumps, bobcats to do demolition work, backhoes, chainsaws, you can name it on the rental costs. Also, there are shelter costs for if you were displaced during that time. Also, costs for sheetrock or flooring to repair those things.
Very good. And these all have to be incurred. You can spend the money June 21st or later.
That's right. Yep. Anything happening before that obviously wasn't affected by the storm, so you can't apply for those costs to be reimbursed.
And this is an unusual storm in that it was so broad. It impacted so many counties and so many areas, and I know that the department wanted input from many counties, and they had to make a decision quickly, and they included these counties. And in fact, if they discover there's storm damage in counties that were not included, the County Veteran Service Officer can request that their county be included.
That's right. The Department of Veterans Affairs for the state of Minnesota took a poll of all 87 counties in the state, and 18 of them came back with requests to be included on this. But that doesn't mean that the other ones wouldn't be included if they talked to their County Veteran Service Officer, and that County Veteran Service Officer requested that the funds be sent to them as well.
Yeah, and it's an ironic storm because it hopscotched around, and in our county, in Hennepin, we lost more trees to this storm than we did in the tornado that occurred in North Minneapolis. And as of Sunday, there were 100 power poles replaced, which is an indication of substantial damage in the community.
I actually traveled back west this weekend to my parents' place in Benson, Minnesota, which is in Swift County. So I primarily drove on Highway 7 and Highway 12. All kinds of storm damage, from huge trees to buildings and everything. So we weren't the only county affected, but yeah, it was all over the state, and we definitely got affected. I know just north of my house, you kind of had to bob and weave on different streets just to get around fallen trees that were in the streets.
Yeah. It was like driving Saturday, and in my neighborhood of Minneapolis, it was down, over, because there were so many trees down and so much damage. And,
absolutely.
And we truly don't know how many people were affected. I mean, we've had a number of calls the first several days before we gave our input to the state, but we wanted to get the word out. And it's not as if people have to do this instant. If somebody is trying to wade their way through hiring a contractor or whatever, they've got until what date?
Absolutely. This thing doesn't happen overnight. Like you said, the commissioner has allocated time from June 21st of this year to September 30th. So you have a good amount of time there to hire someone, assess the damage. Cleaning up a basement isn't a part-time thing. It's going to take you a little while to get that done. So yeah, there'll be plenty of time to get this done and to come in, get those receipts into us, and we'll help you process that application.
And it also helped people to sort out what they actually pay out of their own pocket, because you can't claim what your insurance company pays, but let's say if you've got a $500 deductible,
That's right.
for damage, whether it's a car or whatever got damaged, that deductible is a legitimate expense if you pay it and have a receipt for it.
That's right. Anything like a deductible or something maybe that's not covered from insurance, like food, possibly, depending on what your insurance claim or what your insurance policy dictates.
Right. And so the important thing for our listeners to know is that it is available, and it is assistance that can help people overcome this damage, just as we've had disaster assistance in the past has been available for tornadoes and floods, and here we have storm relief that's available for this specific storm, and to help remedy what occurred during the storm and get people back on their feet.
Absolutely. If anybody needs any help, they'll be sure to call our phone number, 612-348-3300. They'll talk to our intake clerk, and they'll be assigned a veterans representative that will help them out. Now, when they call, they're going to need a couple things when we meet with them, so we'll have that conversation with them on the phone. But those things include your DD-214 or separation papers for the veteran, a proof of residency if you live in the state of Minnesota, so a driver's license or an ID card, death certificate if you're the surviving spouse and you were affected by these storms, and also copies of receipts dated, again, no earlier than June 21st of this year.
So people can take the legitimate expenses that they had in response to this storm, as you outlined, and critical factors is that you have to have receipts for the expenditures. They had to occur the date of the storm or later. Mm-hmm. And so essentially it was in response to this storm, and that you're not being reimbursed by a third party, such as an insurance party, for the expenses that you're claiming.
That's right. Yep. You can't double dip, but the whole process here is to help veterans and their spouses that were affected by these storms, because I know those couple of days, they brought a lot of heartache and a lot of stress to people, whether it be a flooded basement or a power outage for 4 or 5 days, and they had to get rid of a lot of their stuff. So,
and that's a good point with the power outage, that if somebody has a sump pump, and with a power outage, their basement can flood. And if your basement floods, your remedy for that, your cleaning of that, mm-hmm. and what you needed to do to take care of that, that would qualify under this program.
Absolutely, yep.
And that's good for our listeners to know, that because we have time, people have time to get all the documentation they need, and they can call our office, or if they're in another county, they can call their county veteran service office and get information on this, and I'm sure they'll be able to get in and complete a claim for assistance regarding this storm.
Yep, we'll get them on our schedule as soon as we can, and we'll get them taken care of. Very
good. The breadth of the storm was just astonishing. That, as you say, that you drove out, Lyon County, we're almost out to the South Dakota border, mm-hmm. And we're, if you get in southeastern Minnesota, Houston and Fillmore, you're on the Iowa border, and it came through west central Minnesota all the way through the metro. That's some pretty extensive swath for a storm. That we're really not used to having that happen.
I know that my aunt and uncle lost a lot of trees that Thursday night, and then Friday night it came again. And it was like after they had cleaned everything up in their yard and thought they were good to go, another storm came right through, and it was a tough weekend.
Yes. Well, we're in our last half minute or so here. So if you were going to leave our viewers with one thought, what would that be?
Every county in the state of Minnesota has a county veteran service office. If you're in Hennepin County, the phone number is 612-348-3300. If you have any questions on any of this or other veterans benefits, be sure to give us a call.
Very good. And for our listeners, we want to thank your tuning in, and we hope that this information will help you or someone that you know get the assistance that they need to get back on their feet. For American Salutes, this is Milton Schoen. Thank you for watching.